Welcome to the AR-15 podcast. This show is for you if you just bought your first rifle or you've been building them for years. There's something we can all do to take our black rifles to the next level. Hey, what is up, everybody? My name is Nick Dooley. I'm the host of the AR-15 podcast. Tonight, I am joined by Joe, our director of propaganda. And Garth will probably be here. He was here. He was here. He had some technical difficulties, we'll say, and so he will. I'm sure he'll be back. So as we start to get through this, I know that we can get into fun stuff with guns this week because I think you have one very special thing that's new.
Things actually that I did. One very special, yes. I finally have my Matador, my Mat 9, running the Yankee Hill and Mediator the Mediator 2. I thought I was onto something when I wanted it two-tone, and then I started looking around on their Reddit, and like everybody did that. So yeah, hopefully I'll find time this weekend to get out. I mean, it's supposed to be nice out, but I've got some other plans. Put some rounds through it, and then I also got that Mark IV. Got all my parts for that. Did the trigger upgrade on that, and that took me all day. It's just playing with those small. My fingers hurt for a day and a half afterwards, but be easy enough to do it a second time. Now that I know what I'm doing in there, but it was, again, I got to get that out and shoot that. You got to get a 0 on it. So hopefully I'll make it to the range this weekend. So should be doable, I think. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting them out, shooting them. Also got some parts in, got a barrel, a bolt carrier group, looking at some other stuff. So yeah, it's been a busy week. Unfortunately not at the range, but that'll come.
Yeah, I was out and taught a class last weekend, so I went up to the range and did a very, very small amount of shooting when I was there. I just took my couple of my handguns that I was using when I wasn't teaching, and I just started reading through the chat, and I foresee a lot of tangents with this topic in the chat there. But no, so I went out and taught a class. Then not a lot. We got some snow, and I had to be out of town for some work stuff this week. So
yeah, I know. What bullshit when your FFL leaves and your 8-month wait is over, but you have to wait 3 more days because he's not in town.
Yeah, when it shows up the day your FFL leaves.
Yeah, like come on, people. But I wouldn't have probably been able to do much with it, anyways. So
yeah, went out did that, got back here, and then started going through. My plans for the weekend are almost exclusively range oriented, so I will be out and doing some running some guns and doing those types of things over the course of the weekend. And I was getting things set up for that, and I do have a PSA, a public service announcement. This could be a major safety thing, but luckily no one was hurt and everything was fine. Are you guys familiar with the 17 WSM?
I know it. Haven't done anything. Haven't played with it or anything like that.
So I know some guys who have them, and they were pretty reasonable, and they came threaded. And they picked up the WSM was like, hey, so they got a can to, hey, this will quiet it down. And when we looked at it, I said, hey, will this work for a 17? I said, you'll have to look at the website and see. And it's rated for a 17 HMR, not WSM.
Mm-hmm.
And
a little too much pressure.
Well, it went from 26,000 to 33,000 is the jump from which when you're talking, 7,000 PSI, that's substantial. And especially for a rimfire can. And it had a rapid deconstruction event that luckily I was able to remedy with some parts and stuff I have on hand.
I think there's a safe rule of thumb. If it's a long rifle can, don't shoot anything with a center fire in it.
So this is still rimfire.
That's not the 17 with the primer?
Because I was almost positive.
I thought the Win Mag or it's Winchester Short Mag, right? Or the WSM? Because I know
it's still a rimfire.
Oh, is it? Okay. I thought that one. I thought there. Okay, I may be wrong. I thought there was a 17. A 17.
So there is. That's the 17 Hornet.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. But still, yeah, that's still quite a difference in making sure you're paying attention to the specs on your ammo, on your cans, chambers, all that.
Yeah, luckily no one was hurt, and we were able to fix it. And they went, "Oh no, I gotta go buy a threaded 22." I said, "Oh shucks."
Oh no, the irony.
Yep. And that's was what was going over. So that's a PSA. 17 WSM is not friendly to most rimfire cans.
Things happen.
Good thing to know.
Yeah. And Garth, your audio is still
crap, huh?
Well, there you go. Now you're getting better. But
how about now?
There you go.
All right, I will just kiss this microphone all night long.
Sounds good.
Perfect.
But the rugged Oculus can handle it. They were using a next level armament varminter, the 3D printed one.
Yeah.
And nothing against the can. It hadn't been tested for that. Hadn't been ran on that particular round yet. So it was a interesting deal. Garth, did you do anything with firearms this week?
Well, I almost have everything mounted now on my guns behind me, but no shooting and stuff like that. It's getting super nice out, so I hopefully will get to the range next week when we get done doing some work on the farm, where I have a day or two to go out and sight in a plethora of firearms behind me.
Yeah, because that's the main thing you need to do is actually sight things in.
Well, yeah, I've changed a lot of optics. I did get my Form 1 done, so I'm just waiting to hear back so I can turn that AR pistol behind me into a SBR and start taking that to competition. Looking forward to that. So see how long that takes to get back to me.
Yeah, I know that I had a Form 4 come back that they mailed in the fingerprints, and that was done from the 2nd. So, 16 days.
It's not bad.
Yeah, hopefully I can get mine about that time. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I know that. I was gonna say I watched what is in the chat here, and he has 17 forms still pending and 1 approved. So he's making use of the $0 tax stamp as well. But
why wouldn't you?
Yep. So we've all kind of been doing ancillary stuff around, and Not overly. Like I know I went out and did a little bit of shooting, nothing much, just kind of pushing some things through. And then actually last week after the show, I did go out and run a couple of my rifles just because I hadn't run my LPVO in a long time, like any of my LPVOs. I've been concentrating so much on doing competition stuff and running dots that I had not really dedicated the time that I need to run my LPVO. And I need to come back and make sure that I get my ocular set up and get all of that, or get my diopter ring and everything set for when I'm at 1x, so it's easier for me to see. And then I'll still have everything there for when I add that magnification go out. But it's just more of a, oh, hey, I have to sit here and play with this for a little while to make sure everything works.
I still actually haven't mounted that red dot in magnifier that you told me about months ago. It's right there on my shelf. I don't know what gun it's going to go on yet. I haven't decided.
Well, that's fair. But I see it. Dusky says that he's been going back and forth between the two main ARs, one with a dot and a mag and one with LPVO. And that's kind of what I've been doing as well. I have a lot more dots and magnifiers than I used to, but I still have quite a few LPVOs running on stuff. And I think they both have their places. It's just a matter of what I'm going to be doing with them.
Yeah.
Because I really think in competition, the dot with the magnifier is faster for most things, but for like end of the world, LPVO is a better setup, and that's all I have to say about that.
I don't disagree. I actually have one gun with an LPVO still on it, and I have like 6 of them floating around my room right now, and I just don't know if they need to be on guns. But I also tend to agree with that. You know, if things are going to hit the fan, I'd rather have an LPVO just for reasons.
Well, the old trusty ACOG with a piggybacked RMR on top. But so tonight, for anybody who has read the title of the show or looked at it, we're going to talk a little bit about Frankenstein guns. So this was a Joe. Joe brought this topic up. I think it's top of mind for him. And I'm probably like, Dr. Frankenstein when it comes to ARs, because I don't think I own a single factory AR.
I don't. And that's what as I'm working on my next build, are they?
Oh, you have one.
Oh, that's an AR-10.
I was going to say you're 22, the MP-15.
Oh, so I have 2. Yeah, well, yeah, the MP-15, and then the AR-10. But all my AR-15s are composited from many things. Now, like the race gun is all arrow furniture, and even at the time was the same barrel they were selling. But then you different muzzle brake, different gas block, light and bolt carrier, triggers, like everything else. So, and as I'm looking at my next build and wanting to do a build, none of it, you're never going to get what anything's worth out of them. But, you'll hear people complain if you're not running everything, basically numbers matching, brand matching. It's like, is it really that important to do what you want with it as opposed to having, this is all Daniel, if I'm going to buy something so that's all number or all brand matching, why not just buy the full complete firearm? rather than build from the ground up. So, and I'm looking like right now, it's trying to find anybody that's got matching, like actual receiver sets in stock. Seems
Yeah.
to be a pain in the butt. And then you start looking at, well, what furniture do you put on it? Like, I mean, is it that big of a deal at the end of the day? Like, I know to you, if I gave you the spec sheet for my 3-gun rifle, you're like, yeah, that's, appraised out at this type thing. As opposed to if, and, something happens to me and the wife's like, well, these all got to go. It takes them to the pawn shop or takes them down to trade in on at the local gun store. They're not going to give her crap because none of them have a name brand on them, or half of them don't have a name brand, or it's Anderson Lower or something weird like that. So, that's where I came up with the topic is, does it matter? Should you worry about making sure everything's numbers matching and complete, or is it build it, spec it out to do what you want it to do, and the people that know what you're doing with it are going to respect it, and the idiots that are like, oh, that's not this brand or a complete brand are just idiots.
So it's well known that I am a builder more so than a buyer. I keep saying someday I'm going to buy like one of the really nice ARs that's like a complete factory gun just to have.
Mm-hmm.
But just because I'm like, yeah, like it'd be nice to have, I right now, if I was going to buy one, I'd probably lean towards Mitchell Defense, just because the time I've had behind them and stuff like that, they are a boutique rifle that is amazing, and it doesn't have that Daniel Defense name behind it, but that's kind of irrelevant. Daniel Defense, again, fine rifles, but they're not the be all end all. We've talked ad nauseum on this show before about how the DI direct impingement gas system on an AR-15 is not a hard machine to make run.
No.
It's like, okay, yep, like other than an FN or Colt, depending upon what time frame you were talking about in my career. The straight factory gun I have the most rounds through that was not property of the United States government is probably that High Point.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing that you're saying. You could go buy a Daniel Defense, or I can go buy a match set lower upper with the brand stamped on it, and who's going to know the difference if I, put everything else on it that I want? Because let's be honest, your lower parts kits are all probably coming from the same factory, whether it's on that High Point, whether it's on a Ruger or a Smith or any of them that are actually building complete rifles, selling complete rifles. And that seems like it's harder and harder to come up with, our list of companies that are actually selling complete rifles anymore, or everybody's got one and it's just, again, cobbled together parts, but they have a stamped receiver, so it looks complete.
Yeah, it comes down to are some of the parts greater than the pole, and
then is its rifle built greater than the name that you could go buy? Because like you've said, you've been in conversations where we've talked about it, and my race gun is nothing special, but it is a lot more than most people are bringing to the range.
Yeah, but I think that's the new norm, though, is people aren't going out and buying expensive rifles anymore, because a $1,500 rifle and a $500 rifle can essentially do the same thing.
They can, yeah. For the most part.
That's not exactly true. Like, you're seeing a lot of it, but you're seeing a lot more people move in. Like, now you're seeing a lot more people move into that $1,500 space, because a lot of guys went out and during all the panic buys or all of that stuff from political events, they bought I need an AR, So they grabbed that, Palmetto State Armory. They went to PSA, got on the website, and like, oh, okay, yep, I got the Freedom rifle for $4.99, and then now they're like, okay, I have it, because there's a lot of guys who aren't, the builders and doing that stuff. Like you, Garth, you're not gonna go through and be swapping parts. You're like, oh, all right, I'm just gonna buy one, and that's why you're seeing like PSA do the Saber line. Why you're seeing a lot of companies run kind of 2 tiers of what they're doing for their production lines, because they'll have this is the entry level, and then they'll move on from there and get okay, now we're into the the upper level. Or if you watch some of the Facebook groups, it doesn't matter, because unless you have a Noveski or
but I can go buy those lowers and then build it out. That's where, again, you have those people. It's like the sleeper rifle. Like, I can go buy that high point, and it's serviceable right out of the box. I can also go buy that $400 rifle, pull out the barrel, put in a match barrel, put in, a spec trigger, spec'd out bolt carrier group and all that stuff. And then it's a sleeper rifle. Like, it's going to do everything theirs can. It's just, it's not the cool one.
Yeah. So I know that I've got a couple of friends who have high point lowers, and, because they bought just the lower. But Clucker Tactical in the comments is coming up, and he says that I know I'm late, but I'm happy one horse is a thing. And we will be having a lot more about one horse very soon. We call that foreshadowing. But anyways, the conversations with those guys where they've got the high point lower, and like Nick from Like Shooting was talking about it. He built a 6 arc on his, and is competing in matches with it. So he'll show up to matches, and guys are like, oh man, they automatically assume it's a downgrade.
Yeah.
And have no idea that it's all super good parts.
Yeah.
And then, like Dave's got a 416 upper. So an HK 416 upper on a high point lower. And AR Drew here in the comments says he has a high point lower with all Geisley parts. And so, like building out to do things just to kind of turn off those guys that are gatekeeping. And that's awesome. And I think that's really kind of where we're at, and what we should be doing is pushing forward. But that's why I love the platform, is because I can build it, I can test and tune. That's why I have boxes of parts, and go through, because I don't know how many times somebody's called me and been like, hey, do you just happen to have a mil-spec trigger laying around? like everybody on this call has asked me that at one point in time.
Yeah, well, things happen.
But the best thing about it is being able to, again, like you were saying, Joe, you build everything out. I'm all in on the Frankenstein guns, but there can be one problem with them. And like all of my guns are Frankenstein guns, they're whatever. But I have seen guys who will go through and they'll get on the forums, they'll get on Reddit, they'll get on all the Facebook groups, and they start looking at like, okay, yep, this is the part I need to do all this. So they start stacking up all of these parts together that are supposed to make things shoot better. Or, like, okay, yep, this will work, and this is this, and this is this, and this. Okay, so I need to have all these because these are all the best parts. They're doing like a paint by numbers with parts. But it winds up kind of falling on their face. because a lot of those parts that guys will buy will be built to fix one specific issue. And then, so they're like, oh, well, I have, like, but they're like, they said this one's the best. Like, yeah, that, Silencer Co. adjustable or Gemtech or whoever, adjustable bolt carrier group that changes how the gas flow sits in that is good for that. A adjustable, which adjustable gas block are you running for your length, and then changing your buffer weights because you go before you even fire a shot, and then you come through and you've put all of these parts that are supposed to mitigate the same problem together, and now your gas system is messed up because you didn't, or so there it can be a problem. But I'm not saying don't build or do anything like that, but there is a stacking tolerances issue at times.
I think it's more.
Does that make sense when I say that?
No, yeah, I get exactly what you said. It's like buying, just because you have the best engine doesn't mean it's, the best race engine isn't the best mudding engine. The best engine to get you in a hot rod from town to town for cruises isn't the same thing as. So yeah, you can put all of the best parts in anything, but if they're not meant to mesh together, you're not gonna get anything. And I think that's one extreme of it. Another extreme is the guys that just buy just randomly buying whatever's on sale. And
so I've been that guy, like 100%. I've been that guy.
Have no idea what they're putting in, and then have to test and tune. Whereas I think a lot of Frankenstein guns are really good built. Again, I'm going to continuously refer back to my 3-gun rifle, where it's got a different brand barrel from the furniture, from the gas block, from the bolt carrier group, all of that stuff. But it was everything was specifically picked and built to do an end job, not perform its job the best, but when meshed with everybody together, it does that. Yeah, it's like a football team. You can have the fastest receiver in the world, but if your quarterback doesn't have the best arm, it's not going to do you any good. But back that guy up and give him some good possession receivers and tight ends, and you can move a football. That's what it's like. And that's where I think a lot of people, when they see that Frankenstein gun, they think it's that guy on the one extreme of they just threw a whole bunch of crap together when they could, because it's all they could afford. And let's be honest, there's a lot of stuff that just because you can afford it doesn't mean it's worth putting in a rifle.
So basically what you're saying is some guys think they're building the New England Patriots of the 2000s and they end up with the Minnesota Vikings of now. Yeah,
basically. Like,
so
you can have if you can't hit your receiver, you don't need to worry. If you can't hit, if your barrel can't get you to 300 yards, it doesn't matter what you're.
Well, then don't buy a Bear Creek barrel. Then that's all you got to do.
Well, I'm going to touch on that in a second. I was going to say, Klecker Tactical says that he wants to do a 2A talks. So anybody who doesn't know, Klecker does like Instagram lives. He kind of has his own video podcast for 2A talks, and you guys should definitely be checking that out. And hello to Bob over there in the comments. How are we doing from Gideon? I know that Joe mounted a new Gideon today, and
a couple of them this week. Back to Klecker's thing. Tiers are stupid. And what was the other part of it? And mil spec should be the only spec. Anybody building commercial spec should just be out of the business.
Well, so commercial spec is a thing from Colt. The Colt screwed up in the 90s because Colt made commercial spec ARs that were different than mil spec, trying to get around the assault weapons ban. So you would, a lot of times that referred to specifically buffer, like a lot of it was buffer tubes.
Yeah.
And they would have a different thickness, but we're so far beyond that. And it is, no, don't. Like, it's bad company. Don't make that. Unless you're trying to, but there's probably a gun autist out there who wants to make a 1996 AWB clone rifle and so he has to find the proper commercial spec buffer tube, and you know what I mean? Like that's
Well, he should just leave his helmet on, stop licking the windows, and go back to his padded bedroom.
But the snoshberries taste like snoshberries.
Oh, they screwed up a lot of things. That's also where high and low shelf lowers come from, and those things burn through that. But it'll work out. We'll make stuff happen, and a lot of that getting into like we were talking about Frankenstein guns. The dudes who are super into clones, like I have no problem with somebody being a clone rifle builder, but some of that stuff gets insane because they're paying astronomical prices for something so they can have the right forend or something for whatever obscure purpose they have, and then they'll start working their way through this stuff going back, and then they can't find certain things like a VZ grip that'll work properly with that clone rifle, because the unique features of VZ grips, they're machined from a solid block of G10, and G10 is great because it's durable and doesn't get slippery when covered with mud, blood, or sweat. 17-degree grip angle and wide variety of textures from mild to extreme, as well as color options and shorty versions are also available. 1911 grips with extreme customizability, standard swim palm cells, sun notches, safety cuts, bottom profiles, and more. More than 25 textures and 27 colors are available. And there's one coupon code that's good for 15% off all handgun and rifle grips, and that code is AR15POD15.
I'm not sure there's too many clone rifles that have VZ grips on them.
No, they do not.
No, you beat the purpose. But don't you have like 3 guns that you're actually doing right now that are clone rifles, Nick?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I have my M forgery, which is not, it is clone adjacent, I guess. It's a front sight post, but it's a 16-inch gun, and
okay.
I do have one clone rifle. I will admit I do have one. And it is not complete, and it is not correct. I have an M16A4, and I do not have the rail on it, so it still has the round handguards. And my ACOG is tan instead of black, like it should be. But it's there. It, like, you get into it, some of those guys get crazy on like models of flashlights and stuff like that. Klecker said that NSN correct clones are gay. And he may be onto something. And it's crazy to get into that stuff. I don't have that level of attention to detail to get into some of those things.
Yeah. No, but back on the topic, like I said, because I'm doing a build, I'm doing another AR build that I've started, and my biggest thing, right, like I said, right now is I want to do it in FDE. So I'm trying to track down parts, trying to track down uppers and lowers, and a handguard, because I would like, one of the things that drives me nuts is for whatever reason you cannot buy 3 brands of anything in FDE that are the same color if they're different brands. It is so
50
hard
shades of FDE
to match it. So that's like, when I do this, I'm likely going to buy upper, lower, and the handguard from the same company, so they'll be as close as possible to having the correct or same color. I also understand that if the upper, or the foregrip was Cerakote at a different time, it's still probably not going to match the lower and the upper. But I'm going to chance it.
So I brought this up to you earlier in a text, and I will ask the listeners. Would you guys like a video or like so write in, leave comments, like comment on the video, not just in the chat, but like do the like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff we're supposed to say.
You're going the wrong way with this. I know what you want to do. But I got a better plan. We just do a Saturday live show on Rumble of us doing it.
And we probably will do that. We'll do a Saturday live show sometime, and I will teach you. I can teach you guys how to do at-home Cerakoting, and like for the air cure stuff. If anybody would be interested in doing that, and maybe we'll start doing some Rumble live streams.
Just fancy spray painting.
Oh, and which is all it is. It's a special spray paint. unless I break out the airbrush. And we could work through a lot of stuff if that's something you guys want to do. I would be willing. Could you do a Ceramahide video? Is asked. We might be able to get into some of that stuff, and I have a rifle that I Duracoated. I have a couple that I've done Brownell's Alumahide. I have a couple that I've just rattle canned. I have a handful that I've actually done airbrush Cerakote and done the right way, but I used the stuff that takes longer to cure because it was air cure instead of oven cure, which actually has a higher temperature threshold.
So, all the stuff you've done well. So I mean, can't say anything bad about any of the jobs you did the air dry Cerakote on Paul's John Deere gun. It turned out fantastic.
Yeah. So I started to dabble in that for a while, but
did you Cerakote or did you guys rattle can Pipers?
Piper rattle canned it. She gave it the Krylon touch.
There's a part of me that almost likes the rattle can better than the actual Cerakoting. I think it comes down to more from that original GWAT when that's what they were doing. Like they were getting the spray paint in Afghanistan and in the mountains there and making everything match. So, and again, that comes down to too is like there's some people that can do. I've seen some kick ass rattle can jobs. And people frown upon it.
In the comment says air dry is the high temp. And yes, actually, the air dry is the higher temp Cerakote than the oven cured. And Dusky commenting in the chat, if you guys are not part of our Discord, you need to be. Because Dusky's been showing off his paint jobs on his guns that he's been doing, and they are next level.
The Discord has been blowing up. I had
you think ours is busy?
Oh no, it's not ours. It's the Rimfire Jackass.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That one is gone completely crazy. In what, a month? Did they start that?
Great show. Not throwing any shade at him, but mother of pearl, that Discord. Bling, 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 bling. Wow.
Oh, you don't turn notifications off?
Oh no, I do. It just still pops up on my I have the banner thing, and I finally shut that off too. Like I'm done, no more.
Yeah. And but we run through that stuff, and it's cool to see that, guys. Get involved with those. Discords are a great way can be a great venue to look at some of the stuff where you share some ideas and there's tips and tricks and going through. And AR Drew says you can't silence us. No, but I can sure try.
and no, I don't know. Maybe the 22s are more popular right now just because they're less expensive. I've seen some wild
22s are popular for the same reason boobs are popular, because you recognize it when you're a little kid and that's what you first get to play with, and you just never outgrow it.
I mean, I won't lie. Every guy in South Dakota started shooting a 22, and some guys graduated to bigger guns, and I stayed on a 22 because they were more fun. When you go to the hardware store and get a box of 500 for $12, that was awesome. Can't do it anymore.
I remember buying Winchester Wildcat, the white box, for 39 cents for a 50.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah. Dusky, I have my daughter runs the CMMG conversion in her AR generally for 22, and she loves it. And that has she loves that gun. And I actually pulled out a not AR today and have it out because it will probably not be this Saturday's Rumble Live, but we have to I promised her that we would paint my Beretta Storm, and she wants to run it for PCC this year at our local handgun matches.
No way, really? That's gonna be awesome.
So she wants to do that, and so we are going to paint it white first, and then she is going to do camo patterns on it in pink and purple.
Heck yeah, I dig that.
And like, hey, we've got this kiddo, let her rip tater chip, and we'll have that, and I'll be excited for doing that. Maybe we will do a when the kiddo and I decide to do that, we'll do a Rumble live stream and put that through in white, pink, and purple. Dr. Scary Guy is having a stroke in the because he also runs a CX4 and says they're sacred. But we will definitely be running through there. And Dirt Racer, the 3D printed brake holds up great to the 22. I care about it too much to run 5.56 through it on her dinosaur rifle. But the one thing about that, guys, it doesn't really matter when you're doing this stuff. Like, yeah, that gun is like, it's a weird gun, and you have that, but it does have one thing going back to, just aside from the paint and all those types of stuff, is it has accessories that you can get at ClickerTactical.com because it takes magazines. So if you're in need of reliable Kydex holster, Clicker Tactical is your one-stop shop using premium USA source materials. Clicker Tactical will build you a holster in a variety of styles with colors along with light and laser options. Whether you're in law enforcement, a competitive shooter, or an everyday gun enthusiast, trust that Clicker Tactical provide every firearm owner has access to top-tier and personalized holsters, as well as quality and custom products you can't find anywhere else. Use code AR15podcast for 10% off at ClickerTactical.com. I'm going to take this moment.
I was just going to say, you going to show that?
Yep. This is a Clicker Tactical AR mag holder. And, it ships with Blade Tech lock. And I pulled out, I have a handful of different types of mag holders for a belt, just like a standard belt. And I have kept some in vehicles, it's like, oh, hey, if we're doing this, if I go to the range and I don't have something, or if I need to loan one out, like, I think you guys have all seen me. Oh, you need a mag holder? Like, just magic one out of a vehicle before.
Yeah.
And I have some, bigger name ones as well, like, Raven Concealment and some of these other ones. This is a higher quality than the Raven Concealment that costs twice as much. So this is a 100%, guys. If you're sleeping on these, you shouldn't be.
I've got 2 holsters from him, and I love them. Wouldn't complain.
I generally have Clucker in my pants all day, every day. So,
no homo.
But
yeah, he does. He makes some good stuff. So check him out.
Yeah, most definitely.
Check out his podcast and some of the other stuff he does too.
Yeah, so the 2A Talks. You guys need to check that out.
He's always at gun shows and stuff too. So if you see him there, stop in and say hi. Let him know you heard about him from us on the show.
I mean, to be fair, that's how we met him, was through GunCon. He was out peddling stuff in the parking lot, and we're like, this is cool.
No, it wasn't quite that. We were by the pickup, and there was whiskey involved.
Well, there was whiskey, and
then we started. It was like, oh, I do this. I was like, oh, sweet, let me see one. And then we started going through that.
Yeah, because everyone drove to GunCon, so they all brought their guns, and they were show and telling them in the parking lot.
Of Brownells.
Of Brownells, yeah.
Yeah. Which, goals will be a good time. And I'll be in Iowa this year. So, guys, I highly recommend coming to goals, coming to all these events. Check people out, go through, find them, and then we can, you can meet us in person, and you can find out that, no, this really just how I am all the time.
I believe GunCon tickets went on sale this week. I know we're not going to make it, but they are on sale if you go to guncon.net. And you should be able to get your non-media tickets for that. I'm sure it's going to be a great show. It's just going to be, we got There's only so many things we can hit in the summer, so we went with less travel.
And that and some Army stuff got in the way as well. So
Yeah.
But we'll be doing that and hitting up, so we'll be there. That will be a good time. We are at goals. So yes, we will be at goals.
Well, Joe and Nick will be at goals, and I will be a question mark.
Yeah. And Brewski Lodge says just found us on Rumble. Good deal. And we're happy to have everyone on all of our streaming platforms, YouTube, Rumble, and even the Spacebook. And if I wasn't so cheap, I would say that we would send it across to the Twitter as well, or X.
I don't know what happened to Facebook this week, but I saw a lot more 2A gun reel type reels, guns and shooting stuff. I don't know if they changed something in their algorithm or if they changed something in their standards, but there was a lot. It's definitely right now seems a little more friendly than YouTube is, but I was surprised on some of the stuff I saw. Some of it's just crap. Like,
well, my Instagram is Gunstagram. Like that's it.
Mine is, I can like everything. Mine never takes my algorithm.
My algorithm knows exactly who I am, and it. But yeah, YouTube is definitely being very, very anti to us, and we've gotten strikes lately. So hopefully we will be able to maintain having a YouTube channel. But if we randomly are no longer on YouTube, look for the alt when it comes back, the backup.
Actually, if you are watching us on YouTube live, please find us on Rumble. It's a much, much more gun-friendly posting environment. The more people we can get there, the more it will build, the better it will be for the community. So I understand some people haven't migrated there yet, but check it out, please.
Yeah. Also, pleased to announce something that I just got informed. Rimfire Radio is now on the FRN.
Nice.
They got pulled over, so good for them. Good for those guys.
Cool.
Yeah. Klecker says he had a video removed for talking about ammo. We got a strike for talking with Frytech about magnetic buffers.
Yeah,
it was ridiculous. So now, in something that will get us kicked off of YouTube, Joe, I need you to reach over to what you have next to you, because
it's so pretty.
I think we need to have
a showdown,
old versus new. But I know who is going to win that.
Which lower do you have that on? They have the Glock lower.
So this is on a Glock lower with a binary trigger. I have a New Frontier Arms Scorpion mag lower, but I never built it out because you could not run this original Montgo 9 on the Scorpion lowers. Like, it wouldn't work. It actually went back and hit the ejector and caused issues. So I would have had to do some rather extreme milling in order to make it work. And I went, I will just get a Mat 9. And I am still waiting for my Mat 9.
You just keep waiting.
I'm going to, at this point, it's a joke. Like,
you've had enough in your hands. I don't know why you don't just walk off with one.
Yeah. Dr. Scary Guy says, I want my Scorpion. Do you want a Scorpion? Or Dr. Scary Guy, if you are in need of a Scorpion magazine AR9 lower, you hit me up in the DMs, and we'll talk.
Yeah.
So, no, all of but back to our topic here after we went horribly askew. I think Frankenstein guns are the best way, and that's a personal thing, because it's not just that. It's when you start thinking about what a Frankenstein gun is, Like my personal favorite adjustable gas block. I haven't put them on all of my guns yet, but I have put them on a couple. Like when I did my conversion from 308 to 65 Creedmoor on one of my AR-10s, I put a rifle speed gas block on for the adjustable gas block.
Those are
And it is 100% collector and tactical rifle speed. Like it's like, yeah, putting a rifle speed gas block. That's where it fixed any of the gas issues I had, and it worked great. It is my favorite gas block. It replaced one that was equally as good, but it had a different unique feature, and that was the POF. But they were hard to find, especially in some different lengths. They were cool because they had a straight gas tube instead of a bendy. But which, if you're a super nerd, gets into some it can change some stuff for reliability because and changes some fluid dynamics. But I'm not going to bore you guys with that. So that was cool, but no, rifle speeds, you put those on, it makes it better. I have we always talk about hey, what's your favorite rifle, or what's your favorite AR? And I'll go back and forth, and I'm like, I don't know, because I have that's my do everything, the one I would grab for the end of the world, because it shoots super soft. I can do anything with it. It's got a 1 to 10 LPDO, and it's an amazing setup and great rifle. I love the way it shoots, but it's kind of like old reliable that you go, all right, I'm just going to put you back over here because I know how you perform every time, and you never not work. And right now, I have another one of my crazy Frankenstein guns that I built because I had an 11.5-inch barrel that was a front sight post. And, now it's got a Midwest Industries 2-piece, clamshell M-lock handguard, or, that's metal and mounted. So we have that. And I put an A5 buffer system on it, so it's longer. And because I am a somewhat larger human, and it definitely fits me better. And I'm like, oh, this would be great. But it's also why I love my other 11.5-inch gun on a folding lower, because it has that extra length built into that buffer tower at the rear, which is good for me. It's not going to be for everyone else, but you also get the added advantages of having that extra recoil mitigation, that longer stroke, so it has more time. Yes, it slows down the cyclic fire rate, but it makes it for a smoother shooting experience. And GatLab says he started using the YHM suppressor detuned gas blocks and loves it, but makes the gun suppressor dedicated. Yeah, Dr. Scary, I am also a humom. Humorn. However, I said that. I am Lord. But I think we're really summing it up that Frankenstein guns are where it's at.
Well, and that was my take when I offered up the topic. It's don't look down at them. Yeah, if you're talking to a buddy or somebody that's trying to get rid of something, you might want to know what's in them for parts. But there's a lot of people that spend a lot of time, a lot of thought into what they build.
And generally the guys who are selling a Frankenstein gun will give you the build sheet.
Yeah.
It's kind of, you made the analogy of a race car earlier. It's kind of like buying some of those cars or motorcycles. We're like, hey, this is what it is. It has this frame, this engine, this tranny, this, as you go through, it'll have, no different. Hey, this has a sand cutter BCG. This has, a Faxon fire or a Faxon barrel. It has Gibbs arms uppers and all these things, and A5, CMMG A5 length buffer tube and buffer, and Springco springs, and you get into that stuff where like, which trigger it has. It's not the, what is it? This is because most people aren't going to sell you the AR that I ran at Zombies 2 years ago, which is still a fine AR, but what is it? This is the participation trophy. This is stuff I have taken off of prize tables and put together, and it's whatever random parts I had that I made work.
Yeah. But it works. Like that's the other thing is you can make those guns work. It's just getting I think it's more just getting rid of the stigma of getting rid of that stigma that if it's just because it's got mismatched parts doesn't mean it's a piece of junk.
Yeah.
Just like anything
Lab
else.
says use case can direct a build too, and that is very much so. I have a
That's
dedicated long range AR that I built in 223, and I talked about it when I was on Thunder Tactical and stuff because I built it out, and they made fun of me for being a super nerd because I went with an 18-inch barrel with a rifle length gas system because I was like, oh, at the time that was like the hotness for 3-gunners as well.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, I could use it for both, and I'll just swap my optics back and forth. And then as I built it out, I ended up building it into a precision rifle. And the process of doing that, I like my barrel on it it's 5/8 threaded instead of half because I did a 5R rifled 18-inch barrel. And the reason I did that was I wanted to make sure that when I accounted for free bore boost that I would get the same. Like I did all of the nerd things for overthinking and mathing, and it's got a superlative arms, infinite adjustable gas block on it, built on with an arrow precision enhanced upper that the hand guard bolts into it instead of onto the barrel nut, so it has less. I made that to be a extremely accurate long range gun, and now it's just my coyote rifle.
That's one thing I'm really disappointed in is the demise of Arrow. They were such a solid mid-level, like.
Well, and they started going down. They started going down around COVID.
Yeah, well, it might even have been a hair before that, but it just they made good stuff. They had good.
I've got a lot of rifles built on arrows.
Yeah, and it's gone so far off the rails.
Yeah,
what?
And so what actually happened to Arrow? I have heard several things, but none of it is confirmed. So I will not put rumor and conjecture in. And most of what I've heard is internet rumors. I did hear about a sale at SHOT Show, and at SHOT Show they did not have a booth, but they said we'll see you next year. So I have also heard rumors of them going back to just doing aerospace.
What's weird with them right now, like everything that they actually have available on their website is all Stag stamped. So
well, and because Stag moved to Wyoming, and they moved from Connecticut to Wyoming, and Arrow did all of their white labeling. For a time, Arrow actually made PSA, a bunch of the PSA lures.
Really? I didn't know that.
That was a long, long time ago. But that was, and it wasn't like all of them. They made some runs that were they were doing some white label variants work. And I think it was because PSA was starting to sell so much stuff that they went through. Because I remember when I started getting some of the Stag stuff in, I was like, this is an Arrow box. Like 100%, this is an Arrow Precision box. And then come to find out I was correct. But it will be interesting to see what happens with the rest of that as we go forward. So I'm also very interested to see how One Horse does when we talk to them soon.
That will be cool.
Yes, indeed. Guys, as we start to slow down here for the night, I know that we've talked a lot about Frankenstein guns, and kind of come to the conclusion that Joe and I are definitely all in on them. Garth is ambivalent, and it's like, yeah, if you built me one, I'd be cool, and hand it to me, because you'd be like, yeah, it runs, but you're not the builder. So
I'm not the builder, and I think building a AR has a time and place. If you're going to go for like long range stuff, cool, by all means build your AR. But I'm still of the impression you can go out and buy a $500 rifle and pretty much do whatever you want with it for the most common shooters out there. So, but hey, I'm not here to rain on anyone's parade who likes adult Legos. So,
well, I think that's the difference, where you hit it right on the head, that the everyday shooter, the guys that we've talked about that'll never, put 100 rounds through their rifle, never have to worry about wearing out a part. Yeah, buy it off the shelf. Nick builds stuff just because he likes to build stuff. I usually build stuff out to a specific spec that I'm looking for, whether it was my race gun, whether it's my, that PCC that I built, stuff like that. So yeah, there's a time and a place. And if you just want to get into the game, go buy one, save yourself the trouble, save yourself the headache.
Yeah, I watched what says, but I wanted to throw all the parts in a sack and see what shakes out. And yeah, that's a thing. Also, GatLab, Gemtech Trek, great underrated economy can, especially for a bolt gun. They are not what I would call a hard use can, but they're lightweight aluminum, amazing hunting can. Garth, you got anything else to add?
I guess I should probably check out Patriot Patch, patriotpatch.co for all your patch going needs. They have the Patch of the Month Club, guys. It's like $20 or under that. Go join them. They do awesome work. You get a patch in the mail every month because you're in the Patch of the Month Club. So go do that and check out Jake and all the guys at Patriot Patch, patriotpatch.co.
Yes, indeed. Joe, you got anything to
add? Check out the website, AR15podcast.com. Check out our socials, AR15 Podcast 2.0 on Facebook and Instagram, AR15 Podcast on YouTube and Rumble. Like us, share our stuff when you come across our reels and stuff like that. Give them a like, make a comment. And not just us, that's anybody in the community. If you come across a reel or a video you like, share it, like it, comment. Just keep beating those algorithms. We've got to do something. So
yeah, and GatLab, you are correct. I just was working with the tracker, not the Trek. That was the lightweight hunting can. That's not hard use. The Trek is a solid 223 can. I've sold a lot of them and been around a lot of them. And full auto, they're great, run good, and it does all the things you should. It would probably be my second choice to my Yankee Hill turbos, because I am for whatever reason, I somehow found Yankee Hills and went, that's my jam.
I'm glad you did, because I also enjoyed them.
So, guys, I will say that, I say to go get training every week. I always say to go get training. And I always say go get medical training. I'm not going to get into a lot of specifics, but we talked about like AR-15s and buying parts and some of that stuff. Go buy a med kit. Stock your med kit, have it, and carry that stuff with you. And you may be surprised when you have to use it. I had a situation happen. I had a situation happen where I wound up having to dig into my med kits that I carry with me and pull out, because one of the things I carry is a glucose deal. I had an issue happen there where somebody was having a what seemed to me a probable blood sugar related issue, and had to respond to that. And we were out in the middle of nowhere, and it's important to have training to be able to diagnose and look at some of this stuff. So guys, go and get medical training. Take a first aid class, like even a basic first aid class. Take a stop the bleed class. Go get that type of training so that you can help out your community. Garth, you got anything to add on that?
No, man, you nailed it. I'm glad you did what you did. He was grateful for the the service you provided. So
yeah, but no. So I watch what says as a diabetic, I have that crap with me all the time. Several years ago, I had a customer show up who was diabetic and his numbers got off, and that was when I actually started carrying the Transcend glucose pouches with me, so that if I ran into that where they were getting into that hyperglycemia, or where their blood sugar was too out of whack, I could give them a quick hit of glucose. And my wife and I both have had to use them, and they're like $15 buy them on Amazon. Guys, pick them up, use them. And it's like she had to use it on coworkers where it's like, oh hey, Hope, what's going on? And I actually started making all of my guys at work carry them in their first aid kits with all the trucks and stuff we have, so that we have those types of things taken care of. And as we hard candies will work in a pinch, but I just choose to do the gels because it's faster and easier. Here, take this. And I can move on when I triage the situation. But guys, I'm going to tell you right now, go out, get training, get medical training. Remember that you are your own first responder and no one is coming to save you. So with that, you folks out there, stay safe and stay armed.